Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Jewelsknits for Bama. I'm Jules, and this is my podcast where I talk about all my knitting and crafting adventures. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I'm really enjoying the community that I'm being able to build through this podcast and all the new friends that I'm making, and it's just super exciting to always make friends in the fiber community and have that sort of outlet. I just wanted to remind you guys, I love to show you what I'm working on, but I would really love to see what you guys are working on too. So if you ever want to use the hashtag Jewelsknitsforbamma on Instagram, I'm following that hashtag, and I would love to see what you guys are up to, or you could always just tag me in whatever you're doing, and I get so excited when I get to see what everyone else is creating, and sometimes it's so inspiring, and it makes me so happy. Other ways you can contact me is Jewelsknits on Instagram, and then jewelsknitsforbamma@gmail. I am on Ravelry, but it's definitely not the most reliable way. I don't really understand Ravelry. I basically just use it for my patterns, or sometimes if there's a knit along that I'm participating in, I try and figure out how to post in there. Other than that, Instagram and email are definitely the best ways to get a hold of me. It's been about 3 weeks, I think, since the last time I podcasted. I'm definitely doing better about keeping up with it. I don't ever want to do another 6-week break again, because that was so much to think about and remember to show. So I'm definitely happy. I think 3 weeks is a good happy medium. It's been a little bit hard to find time to record because summer break and both the kids are home, and everything's a little bit different during the summer. But I've got, my younger one is napping right now, and the older one is right above us in her room playing. So I apologize if you can hear her. You might be able to hear her walking around upstairs. I'm not really sure. But I'm a mom, and I'm just going to fit it in where I can. And I'm so excited that I finally found a time that works to record, because I really get sad when I don't record. I think it's definitely a healthy outlet. And like I said, I really enjoy the community that comes along with podcasting and being in the fiber arts world. So I just wanted to let you know today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to have a formal acquisition section. The only things that I have purchased over the last couple months are either whips or finished objects. So instead of doing an acquisition section and showing you everything that I've already done, I will just let you know that this was an acquisition as I show it to you. The only thing that I've purchased that doesn't fit into one of those two categories is this sweatshirt that says I am the one who knits. I bought this from McKaylee of Breaking Yarn. This is a Breaking Bad reference. I absolutely love her yarns, and I saw her wearing this sweatshirt in one of her Instagram stories, and I was like, I have to have it. So I went right onto her website and I got it. It came super fast. It's so comfortable. It's so warm. It has her logo on the back, but I'm not going to turn around and show you that right now because I got yarn from her, so I'll just show you her logo then. But if you guys haven't heard of Breaking Yarn, she's out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. You should definitely go check her out. So without further ado, let's hop right into all the yarny fun stuff. My first finished object is something that was a whip on the last episode, and that is these Shorty Socks that I made as a Christmas present. I can't remember the colorway names. I think it's the main color is Fortaleza, I want to say, or something. And the heels and toes are fuchsia. They're both Malabrigo sock. I just pulled it out of leftovers from my scrap bins. And I made these cute little Shorty Socks. And I'm so excited. This is going to be one of those ones that's really hard to give away. But I know the recipient is going to love them so much. For those of you who are new here, instead of buying Christmas presents for my family members, I always make socks for everybody in my family. I normally start in April or May and make them all the way up through until December. And I use Summer Sock Camp by the Crazy Sock Lady to get quite a bit of them done. It really gets me motivated to go. Socks are obviously awesome in the summer because you don't have something huge sitting on your lap while it's 80 degrees out. And I also just always have a pair of socks regardless because they're super easy to take on the go. So I use the Crazy Sock Lady Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop. I use the medium size for this. I pretty much always use her sock pattern, just because it's like vanilla. I'm totally a vanilla sock knitter. It's pretty rare that I do a pattern sock, and it's just an easy pattern. I have all 3 sizes memorized. Normally I do the medium size, but for, you know, taller or larger men, I normally do a large, and for the kids, I normally just use the small size and adjust the length accordingly. So yeah, those are those. And then my next finished object is also a pair of socks, but it's also an acquisition. So let me show you the label. This is, oh, there we go. This is Knit Picks Felici in the colorway Lassie. I'm not really sure if this is, I absolutely love these. Let me just say, I know I just totally got off track, but like, these are so much fun. Story of my life. I don't know what the heel and toe is. I pulled it out of my scrap bin. I did make them twin socks, so they match exactly. I'm not sure if this is really the colors of the recipient. Like, I'm not really sure if these would be her favorite colors, to be honest. There was other Felici colorways that I absolutely loved, but I totally got this simply because of the name Lassie, the colorway name. And that is because every aunt and uncle in my family has a name. We don't have aunt and uncle. My brother-in-laws are Seta and Eno because my husband's family is Finnish. And when my husband became an uncle, our niece dubbed him Pickle. So we have Seta, Eno, Pickle. And then I got dubbed Cheesecake. And my sister-in-law got dubbed Lassie. So I saw that this colorway was called Lassie, and naturally I had to get this for her Christmas socks. She really likes the tall socks, so I made them super long. I was laughing at myself as I was blocking them because they're so long that they like go over the sock blockers. But yeah, I think they're such a fun color, and I'm so excited by the way they came out. Okay, so this last FO that I have is a pretty special one. It's definitely a prototype. But I think on the last podcast, I talked a little bit about wanting to find a way where I could do something to be able to be at home more with my girls and have a job more in the fiber arts community. And a couple, maybe like last week or the week before, a Facebook memory popped up, and it was a memory of a little romper that I had made Ella when she was maybe like 3. And it reminded me of the fact that even though I didn't think I could be a designer, with very limited knitting skills, like I've always been a knitter. My Bama taught me when I was younger. But I didn't really start to get into all the more difficult things until after my daughter was born. And so with pretty limited like basic knowledge of knitting, I would make like these rompers or these halter tops or diaper covers or whatever. I would, you know, and I would do it without a pattern, and I was designing. I've just never put something out there. I've never sized anything or, you know, put it out on the internet or written it down. I just kind of did it, and that's how it was. But it made me think, like, if I could do that, I could design something and, you know, maybe get it size graded, and maybe actually put out a design. And maybe that's like the first step to me being able to be at home with my girls and kind of work from home. So I designed something. It's definitely not the final design. I haven't even blocked it. Honestly, I'm probably just going to give it to my daughter because there's several changes that I'd like to make about it before I ever like try to write down the pattern or put it in testing or any of that fun stuff. But here it is. So it's a hat, and it's got some hootie owls and this fun little design down on the bottom. And the reason that this definitely isn't my final design is, number one, the decreases on the top. I don't like how it's all bunching like that. So I'm definitely going to go back to the drawing board and see how I can give a little bit more room for the decreases. I definitely want this to be more of a fitted hat than like a slouchy type of hat. So what I was thinking is if I got rid of maybe this part on the bottom and just moved the owls down, then I would have more room to do the decreases slower so it doesn't bunch up like this. I'll put it on. It's probably going to mess up my hair, but that's okay. So this is what it is so far. Yeah, my hair looks crazy. I mean, my hair is crazy because I didn't straighten it today, but it looks even crazier now. That's okay. So the reason I did hootie owls is because my Bama was obsessed with owls. And everyone who's been around for a little while knows that Bama is very important. She's the one who taught me to knit, and she was my best friend. So I thought, how much more perfect would it be than my first design to be kind of a nod to her. I think when I put this out, I think I'm going to call it the Bama Hat. It's something unique, but I'm pretty proud of myself because I came up with that hootie owl design all by myself. It took me a long time to try and figure out how to make it so that it would actually look like an owl when you knitted it up, because I did a lot of swatches and created a bunch of different charts, but none of them really looked like an owl. When like they looked like an owl on the chart, but then when you tried to knit it, it didn't. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna work on that over the next couple weeks and whatnot, and maybe in the future we'll have a design from me. Who knows? But yeah. Oh, and I did this in DK weight. I can't remember how many stitches I cast on. I have it written down somewhere because I'm not the most organized knitter, but I'm designing, so I have to remember, right? But yeah, I'm just kind of stuck at this point. I'm definitely gonna make the pattern so that it could be like a fold up. I personally like just a single, you know, couple inches of ribbing at the bottom, but I'm definitely gonna make it so that with directions so that it could be a fold up brim as well, because I know a lot of people like that. But I'm just kind of stuck right now because I'm not sure. I really want the owls to be lower, but I really kind of like this detail at the bottom here. But I did do a couple rows of knitting in between here and the brim before I started the color work, so I'm wondering if I can like edit some of that out. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so I'm super excited. It's one more step closer to my goal, and I look forward to seeing where this takes me. So that's all I have for finished objects. Let me gather up all my whips and I'll be right back with you. So my first whip is the Wild Horse. It is a cardigan pattern by Jessica McDonald. It's relatively, I think, one of her relatively new patterns. I absolutely love her patterns. I knit the Skift sweater, I think it's called, which is a kid's color work pattern. She does beautiful color work. And I also have her Blizzard pattern, which is like the grown-up version of that, but I haven't done a sweater in that yet. I started one and then I ripped it out. But for this I'm using the Patent Classic Wool Worsted. It's 100% pure new wool, 194 yards and 100 grams. I'm sure I'll try and show it to you. But I'm sure like everyone has seen the Patent's logo. And let me just say, this pattern is wonderful. Her patterns, I've never seen one of her patterns that I didn't like. I have several of them. But I don't know what possessed me to think about knitting a cardigan. I love cardigans. I wear them all the time. I've never made myself a cardigan or anyone else knitting. I've crocheted cardigans, but I've never knit a cardigan for someone or myself because I really, really don't like purling. I've said it before, I'll say it again, like I'm a lazy knitter and I don't like purling. But I thought it might be nice to have like a sweater and a cardigan since I'm going to be at Rhinebeck for 2 days. I thought it might be nice just to have a little variety in my wardrobe. So I picked this one because I saw it when she released it and I absolutely loved it. There's so many cardigans that I love. I love how they look. I want to knit them, but I just know I'm going to have to purl, and that always stops me. But it didn't stop me this time. I'll put a picture up above or over here somewhere of what it, like her pattern picture, so you can see what it's going to look like. But so far, I have knit the raglan increases and split for the sleeves, and I've got about an inch, maybe an inch and a half past the sleeves. The thing that really drew me to this cardigan in particular is, number one, the little raglan, the details on the raglan increases, but also the fact that she continued that detail into, instead of doing like a regular rib on the sleeve and the hem, she continued that detail into the sleeve and the hem. And it just looks so good. She did like this beautiful shawl collar on it that's all garter stitch. And I don't know, it's just, it was, you could tell that there was such attention to detail made when she was making that pattern. And I just really wanted to knit it. So I cast it on, and there we have it. So that's my first whip. It's definitely not going to be done by the next podcast. It's definitely a product knit for me, not a process knit. I typically like to, you know, just knit in circles, and I like to knit fast, and I'm not a fast purler. I don't know how to be a fast purler. If you guys have any tips on how to purl faster, I'm an English style knitter, then feel free to send them my way. Next whip is, I guess, technically a finished object, but it's not really. So I've made a bunch of these washcloths, and then I've got like a little itty bitty baby one going here, just on some 16-inch needles that I had from like the beginning of my knitting days. They're not like chow goo or anything, and it's definitely really weird to not be knitting on chow goo. The yarn that I'm using is just like the Cotton Mainstays yarn that you can get right at Walmart. And I'm making these because I thought this year, instead of just doing socks and stuff for like my family, I would also make a bunch of washcloths and give Christmas presents to like my coworkers or like some friends. And there's a store in the next town over called Hannah Grimes, where they sell like locally made products. Like sometimes people will like sell their knits there, or like hand washes, soaps, like art. It's like the cutest little store, and I really thought that it would be nice to like make a bunch of washcloths and then go there and get some like fancy homemade soaps or something like that, and make little gift baskets for people in my life who I want to acknowledge them, like, and tell them, you know, you're special for Christmas, you know, some of my closer coworkers or friends or whatnot. But because I have so much family, might not have the time to knit a full pair of socks for them. So that was my thought process with that. And I'm wondering like if you guys have ever done anything like that, and what are some of the other little goodies that you've thrown in the gift baskets to kind of make them more special, or whatnot. So that's my next whip. This whip, I'm not even sure if you guys would remember. It's living in my after this we're getting tacos bag. I don't remember where I got this, like Target or something. And you guys have not seen it in forever. It is my rocket tee. I've made a little bit of progress. So the last time I podcasted, I was where this little red stitch marker is, and now I'm down here. I started this forever ago, at like the beginning of the summer, and then I put it down and forgot about it until, you know, I did the typical split for the sleeves and then forget about it sort of thing that I do. Until yesterday, when I was watching Maddie and Kristen of We Share Needles, and Kristen had hers and was making hers, and it really inspired me to pull out mine. So I did. And then I was like chatting with Kristen a little bit on Instagram about it, and realized that through our conversation that I'm not supposed to be holding the mohair double, and I have been. It's supposed to be single mohair. It's a summer top. It's supposed to be like airy, which makes sense. I should have read the pattern better. I was just doing what I always do because most of the time you hold the mohair double, so I just assumed, but that's on me for not paying attention. And I feel bad because I think I gave Kristen a little bit of a heart attack because she was like, wait, you have to hold it double? And I was like, actually, no, I just looked, you're right, I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. I think it's a super cute top to like, if I have like a white long sleeve shirt to like put under it. I could totally wear it in the winter. Maybe it'll be cool enough to wear in the summer. I'm not sure. I have no idea what the yarn is. I lost those a long time ago. If you really want to know, like I did show it when I first got the yarn for it. So if you go back like several episodes maybe, you might be able to find what the yarn is. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it and keep going because at this point, like I'm not taking out all of that. I just got my mojo back with it. I don't want to take it out. Again, being a lazy knitter. So I'm excited because I pulled that out, which has been in hibernation for a while. My next whip you guys saw last time, and I've made quite a bit of progress. I was like, sometimes before I podcast, like I'll go back and watch the last podcast episode I did. I can't stand watching myself. It's super weird. But sometimes I forget, like, if I showed something on the last podcast or if something was an acquisition or whatnot. So I'll go back and look. And I said on the last podcast, like, maybe I'll be done with this next time. No. Nope. Nope. I'm definitely not done with it. But I have made quite a bit of progress. So this is my Whitmore Sweater by, I did this last time too. I forgot the name of the designer. I will put it at the bottom of the screen here when I'm editing. But last time I did the podcast, I think I was like somewhere right here. So I've made like probably like 4 inches of progress since the last time you guys saw this. And again, I have no idea where the yarn balls went for these. But as soon as I find it, I'll update what it is. I'm bad at podcasting, but I'm not bad at podcasting. I need to stop being so bad to myself. I am bad at remembering to save labels. It is something that I'm definitely having to strive to be more accountable to myself for. But I've really been trying to save labels for you guys. I do know that the mohair I'm holding this with is like the Ella Ray mohair blends. It's like a sparkle. I'm not sure if that's really coming across on the camera. But yeah, I'm really loving this. This is definitely going to be a Rhinebeck sweater. And I would hope to have this done by next time, but I'm not sure if that's a realistic hope or not. And then my last whip is living in my Mountain State Stitches bag that I got from the Crazy Sock Lady Summer Sock Camp update. Absolutely love this bag. This is Breaking Yarn. Look, guys, I have the label. This is Breaking Yarn in the Jesse Pinkman colorway. 75% superwash, 25% nylon, 463 yards per 100 grams. And I'm making this as a pair of Christmas socks for my friend's husband. I think the mini, so this is the color, this is the yarn, and then this is the mini, which is like kind of like this grayish. I think this is Knit Picks, but don't quote me on it. I can't quite remember. I think this is like yarn that I used as like a muscle. I made a muscle bird for her husband too, for his birthday. But these are almost done. This is the first sock. I'm on the toe right now. And guys, like it is so cool with Michaeli's yarn because when it comes, it like looks, I don't know how to explain this. Like when it comes in the hank, it's like half red and half black. And then when you start to knit it up, it does like this micro stripey thing. And I just think it looks so cool. And it's so fun to see it work out. So I started these like not that long ago, but they're super addicting. So I've just been like blowing through them. So that is my last whip. And I'm trying to think, like, there's something else. How could I have forgotten? Guys, you're never gonna believe this. I have another FO. And the reason I forgot it is because it's not sitting right here. It's been gifted. But I will tell you about it. So those of you who have been here for a little while, you've seen me like make and rip out a sweater for my husband's friend from the Beagle Club that they're a part of. And a couple weeks ago, I realized that it had been like 6 months since he had asked me to make him a sweater, and I still had no sweater for him. And he had a 40th birthday bash coming up the weekend of July 4th. Now, mind you, this is the weekend before July 4th. So the weekend before, exactly 7 days before the birthday party, I thought to myself, I have to give this man a sweater for his birthday. He has been waiting patiently. He has not bugged me. He is completely knit-worthy. Like, he's the type of dude who would probably pay me like $300 to make him a sweater. Like, he loves wool sweaters. He lives in wool sweaters all winter long. And I had to make him a sweater. And I wanted it to be for his birthday. And I did it. I made an entire like 42 or 46 inch man's sweater in 7 days. 7 days. That's it. 7 days. I cannot believe I did it. I've never knit so much in my entire life. My hands hurt so bad by day 7. I was sewing in ends and casting off like literally 3 hours before the party. I just gave it to him and I'm like, he wears wool sweaters all the time, so he knows you have to wash them. Don't agitate them, cold water, lay them out flat. I was like, you're gonna have to do it because I didn't have time to do it and let it dry. And I'm gonna put some pictures of it here. I did the Antler Sweater by Tin Can Knits, and I used the same one that I'm using for mine, like the Patton's wool, just in like more of a brownie color. And like, I just can't believe I did it. And he was like over the moon about it. It was so much fun. So that's really all I have for yarny goodness. I'll talk a little bit about life stuff, and if you don't feel like sticking around for that, I don't blame you. Thank you for coming by. And for everyone else who's staying, let's have a little chat. It's been a pretty busy couple of weeks here at the Wilson compound. The girls are obviously still home for summer break, so we've been trying to do some fun things with them. Like I said earlier, we went to my husband's friend's birthday party the weekend of 4th of July. That was super fun. They had a swimming pool for the kids, and like we were playing horseshoe, and I did a lot of knitting. I love bringing my socks with me to like parties and stuff because, you know, it's always a good place to get a lot of knitting done. I got pretty much one whole sock done that night, I think. So that was cool. And then the next day was the 4th of July. So we took the girls to the fireworks, which they absolutely loved. To be honest, I wasn't in the best mental headspace that weekend. I wasn't really feeling like celebrating. I'm not going to get into it on here because this is a positive, happy place, but I think that, I don't know. I just wasn't in a good headspace that weekend. So I just kind of made the best of it, and what really made me happy was seeing my girls have so much fun and enjoying everything, and yeah. So that was fun. And then I haven't really done a whole lot since then. Last weekend we went to a cookout at my mother-in-law's house, and she made steak and cheese grinders, which were delish. But I've got quite a busy few weeks coming up. Just in the next couple weeks, I've got a birthday party for my girls. It's kind of funny because Parker, my younger daughter, is turning 3 on July 30th. And my older daughter, Ella, isn't turning 9 until October. But she came to me the other day and really expressed that she really wanted a pool party, which obviously in New Hampshire is kind of hard to do in October because you don't know if it's going to be warm or not, and more likely than not, it's not going to be warm enough to do that. So we decided that this year we're just going to celebrate both of the girls' birthdays at the same time and do a joint birthday party. And you know, the little winter baby in me was like totally understanding of my daughter and wanting to have a cool pool party, and she was more than excited to like have a birthday with her sister. So we're gonna do a birthday party for them in a couple weeks, and then the weekend after that is a baby shower for my brother-in-law and his girlfriend and their soon-to-be baby boy, soon-to-be-born baby boy. And it's just a lot of things over the next couple weekends. So I'm definitely going to be busy. It's going to be a little bit hard to find a lot of time to knit because I'm hosting 2 parties. But I'm really looking forward to tomorrow because I am going on a kayaking day with a friend of mine, which we've been trying to do since like May, the beginning of kayaking season. And just because of like the way our work schedules line up and stuff, it's really hard to find the time when we're both free to do that. So I'm excited. I'm going to bring my knitting with me and kind of kayak around and maybe float a little bit and do some knitting while I kayak. And I don't know, it's going to be fun. So if you feel like, I'm not sure if I'll have service where we are, but if we do, I'm definitely going to be posting on my Insta stories. So feel free to kind of follow me there. And that's really all that I have going on. Trying to think. I haven't really been watching a whole lot. I've definitely been watching a lot of podcasts. My normal Needles at the Ready, We Share Needles. Chevy came out with some new podcasts, which I was super excited about since we haven't seen her in forever. I've really just been watching podcasts, and like it's been nice out. It's been a pretty mild summer. Like we've had a couple of days where it's been like really hot, but it hasn't been too bad. And I mean too bad for New Hampshire. Like it's definitely been bad for me. I hate the heat. I'm a winter baby. I want winter. But it's definitely been like a pretty mild summer. So we've been spending a lot of time like outside and just playing on the playground or, you know, whatever. We took the kids swimming a few times, and there's not like, I finished Call the Midwife, which I think I was talking about last time. I finished that show. So I am just basically trying, like I'm in that in-between spot right now where I'm not really sure what to watch next, or everything that's been suggested to me I've already watched, because admittedly I do kind of watch a lot of TV, because I kind of just like to like watch TV or watch a podcast and knit on my free time, or you know, be outside doing things. But I kind of hibernate in the summer a little bit, other than like taking my kids to do things. I'm pretty much hibernating because I don't like the heat. But I don't know, it's just I'm just in that weird spot where I don't really know what to watch. So maybe if you guys have any suggestions of something I should watch, let me know. I do Netflix, I do Hulu, I have the HBO and the Disney, whatever, Disney Plus or whatever that is. What are you guys watching these days? And then the only other really thing that's been kind of exciting is my older daughter Ella she's been into Harry Potter for like a while now, but she only ever really watched like the first like 2, because after that they kind of got scary, I think. Speaking of her, she's coming down right now. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. And But recently, like, she felt like she would be okay to watch the other ones, so we watched all the other movies, and they didn't scare her, which is awesome. And she really wants to watch the books. She really wants to read the books. We have started to read the books, and I'm really excited that I get to read them to her now because, you know, I remember getting them read to me as a kid, and now I'm excited to read them to her. So I think that's just about all the things I have really to chat about. I'd love to hear what you guys are up to and what you're doing and what you're knitting on. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram. And I will try to be back in another 2 or 3 weeks to do another podcast episode. And until then, I hope you are happy and healthy and enjoying your yarn and creating things. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.